These babies are extremely versatile, but by no means the only light you're going to need in your kit. I mean, I can't even imagine how many of these it would take to light a set even as simple as what you're seeing right now. And though this video is not sponsored by Aputure, there are affiliate links in the description below if you want to pick some up. It would sure help this channel out. Actually, it would help me out, not the channel. My absolute favorite feature of the Aputure MC is its compatibility with the Situs Link app. I simply go into the app, log each of the lights that I have, but I have full control of these lights remotely. So if I put this up on my shoulder like this, I can do things like changing the intensity from here. I can change the gel, whether it's tungsten or daylit, or some in-betweens. I can even do a color picker, which I have done on occasion. If a client has a brand specific color, they give you lots of different standard options, like a great red or blue or green or things like that. But I can even do the picker, which basically accesses your phone, and I could take something like this orange, which is not a preset within here, and hit pick. Boom. And I have that orange. And then I can also do some effects. So I can do things like fire, and I can change the intensity again, how bright it is. I can change how frequently it flickers. So we can have a fast flickering fire or a slower, more like a candle-like fire. I could do things like cop car if I'm doing law enforcement. Again, I can change all of the intensity. I can change if it's just red or blue and white or red and blue. I can change how many flashes we get. So it's very versatile. Again, how often am I going to be using some of these effects? Well, I actually have used some effects, as you can see here. Here I wanted to simulate a candle flickering, and so I had the fire strobe on one, and then I also wanted to simulate the cell phone glow up on her face, and her phone actually wasn't bright enough, so I simply put one of these at daylit temp and had her hold it on top of her phone, and boom, got the shot that I needed. Again, these are not going to be great key lights because they are not bright enough to really light the subject's face very well, especially when you're dealing with available lighting from the sun or even natural light pouring through windows. They just aren't powerful enough to provide that much light on your subject, but they're phenomenal for accent lights and for lighting up your background. So I've done this in the past where I lit my subject for an interview, but then I wanted to add some lighting in the background, add some textures with light and shadow, or wanted to add the color, the brand color of my client to the background in a lighting form. And so these lights make a fabulous option for that. And of course the practical effects that I mentioned before. Now of course you can use the light as such as it comes like this. And it creates a little bit harsher of a light, as you can see on here. They come with this diffuser. I have always used the diffuser just because I personally like to have diffused light, but sometimes this grid pattern could be something that looks cool in your background or something like that. You might consider that. This again, having this little diffuser thing adds a nice soft element so it's not too distracting. I prefer attaching it to this Gorilla Pod, and this makes this little light even more versatile. Again, these are going to be little accent pieces, so they're going to be put in hard to reach places. A lot of times you could just set it on a shelf or an object or something like that, but then there are times when there's nothing to rest it on, and so attaching it to a Gorilla Pod like this allows you to clamp it onto whatever object that you're trying to light and go from there, and I found this to be a very practical and helpful solution. It will work on a tripod. It looks a little ridiculous to set one of these little things on a tripod, but I've done that in the past. It'll thread onto most lighting stands, and I will say the thread is built into the light base like this, and so on a light stand it's literally just like this, and you can't articulate it at all unless you have a different attachment on your light stand in which to position it. So you're kind of limited on a light stand. Tripod is a little bit better in that regards, but there are other issues with that. Sometimes I stack these lights on top of each other to add a little bit more light, get some more power out of them. I do use them right now, so as you can see, I've got the main lights, the Aputure 60Xs on me, but then when I bring a card forward, you can see that it's lit well. Well, that's because I happen to have one of these MCs right above the lens of the camera. So you can see it's kind of in the shadow, and as it comes up to the lens, you can see that it's being lit. And that happens to be by one of these MCs I have right above the lens of the camera. And though I love these lights, they're not the first lights I would recommend going out and investing in. I would recommend probably starting with an Aputure 60X so that you can get a really good key light on your subject. You're going to use those on almost every single shoot. These you're not. These are adding an accessory, an embellishment to an already good looking shot. They're not going to make your shot look good. These are going to make your shot look good. So once you have invested in a little bit more powerful light and you still have some money left over that you want to go the next level, then I'd highly recommend getting some of these where you can change colors, add that brand color to your background or to subjects, add some practical effects. If you're trying to simulate or show, hey, we have a candle, we want to see the effect of that candle on someone, add that fire effect, things like that, then these make for great options. Thanks so much for watching, and though I won't be seeing you in the next video, you're sure to see me rough.